I know as an entrepreneur for over 17 years now, I know that a lot of entrepreneurs feel overwhelmed, and even employees. We have an employee on the call here, but I know that overwhelm happens because you're wearing a bunch of different hats. You're trying to fill multiple roles, and you feel overwhelmed. And most often, the overwhelm comes because we're making emotional decisions, right? Something happens, we react to something, so we make emotional decisions instead of data-driven decisions. I've been in both your shoes as an employee or a team member, and then also in the role of a founder. And so I understand how everybody feels in this, either an employee or a founder and owner. And so, what I have found is that the way to remove or minimize that overwhelm and the emotional decision making is having a roadmap, a guide, something that we can track, having an ability to track data, because you've all heard the phrase, numbers don't lie, right? And so, my goal is to help you find that roadmap, or find the resources that you need to sort of make managing data easy, and specifically data around marketing. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to kind of go through the exact spreadsheet that I used to use in my companies that I scaled from $0 to multiple seven figures. And it was the spreadsheet that helped us keep an eye on where our marketing dollars are being spent. Are we over budget, on budget, under budget? Where are our sales related to that? And so, you know me, but the people that are going to watch this back may not know me. So my name is Clifton Muckenfoos. I am an entrepreneur. I own currently 2 companies. I've started or co-founded 4. I've exited 2 of those companies. And I've worked for Fortune 10 companies, Fortune 500 companies, tech startups. And so I've got a ton of experience in various industries, in various roles. And so, my agenda today is to take things that seem to be very complex, which is Excel files, and make them very simple. I'm going to walk through some simple calculations that founders and owners and leaders need to know. And then we're going to walk through that strategic planning worksheet step by step. And then we'll do some Q&A. So before we get started, I'm going to have Selena drop the actual spreadsheet file that we're going to be using in the chat. And so I want you to click on that and just make sure that you can actually access and open that file. While you're pulling that up, and if for some reason there's an issue with the download, let us know. We can email that out. But I'm going to share my screen here. And so just confirm if you can see my screen where we've got some calculations here. Can you see that? Good. All right, perfect. So before we get started, there's a couple things that we actually need to know, and we need to be able to calculate. It was in the second video that said, hey, here's how to prepare. And so we want to know what our average client value is, what our closing rate is, what our lead cancellation percentage is, and then our finance or rescission percentage. And so the easiest way to do this is to calculate our average client value. We're going to take our total sales, and let's say we look at the last 12 months. So we take a trailing 12. And for this example, let's say our sales was $500,000. Okay, yours will be different based on your business. And let's say we had 100 clients. So our average client value is $5,000, okay? Now, we need to know how much we're closing. Now, a lot of people get this confused and they will include all of the meetings. Instead, the actual measure is we need to start calculating the total number of sales meetings attended, okay? Because we're going to have some cancellation. So our closing rate is a measure of the number of people we actually had a conversation with compared to the number of jobs we sold. Okay, so in this example, let's say we had 100 meetings that we attended and we sold 35. Okay. So now we need to calculate our lead cancellation percentage. Now this can be super valuable as well because we want to know why are our meetings or why are our appointments canceling? Like what's going on? Is there something that we can be doing differently or better to keep people engaged to keep the meeting? Okay. So this percentage is calculated by the total number of sales meetings scheduled. Let's say in this case, we had 135 and the number of meetings canceled, 10. Okay, so our lead cancellation percentage is 7.41%. Now, those of you that use financing, this is important because we need to capture, not everybody gets approved for financing, right? Just because we submit an application does not mean that a homeowner is going to get approved. Now, in most cases, for most business, this is a low number. However, what we have found is that companies that do a lot of lead gen in big box stores, home improvement stores, things like that, we do see a higher rejection or finance rejection percentage there. And those companies that are big on one-call closes. Those one-call close companies will, you've heard the stories that they come in the morning and they're still there at dinner time trying to get you to buy some windows or something like that. So this could be low. So let's say in a given year, you submit 25 applications and you get 2 of them declined. So you've got an 8% rejection percentage. Okay. So these are sort of our baseline numbers that we need to have an understanding of in order for us to move forward. Okay. So I'm just going to use this example this spreadsheet is laid out very, very easy to follow. We're going to start with our calculations. We got our annual sales breakdown, so on and so forth. Okay. So now let's go over here. So let's take this year as an example, or if you're using this to plan for 2024. And let's say we just want to do $1 million in sales. Okay. When we're meeting with our leadership team, we have to determine how much of revenue or of sales are we going to allocate for advertising and marketing. Now, depending on where you're located, depending on the niche or the service that you offer, this could range. In most cases, this is going to be anywhere between 5 and 15%. I've seen some companies upwards of 18%. And those are going to be typically your one-call close companies. But let's say that on $1 million company, and it also depends on where you're at in your business life cycle. So startup companies sometimes don't have a lot of startup cash. And so this number is going to be low. But if somebody is in $1 million, they're kind of in growth mode. They're going to be allocating and budgeting money towards these lead gen efforts. So let's use an easy calculation here of 10%. Now, what did we say our average client value was over here? The average client value is $5,000. So we're going to add that. Now we're going to go back. Our closing rate is 35%. Our cancellation percentage is 7.41%. Okay. And these are going to be rounding up. Our rescission or finance rejection percentage is 8. Now, how many people do we have on our sales team? In this case, if you're running a $5,000 average sale, this could be 2 people, this could be 3, but let's just say this company has 3 people on their sales team. Okay, so the information at the top is very critical. You've got to enter this information in these boxes here to spit out our analysis here. Now, these numbers are very important, okay? So on $1 million, we expect, based on your rescission, which means that 8% are not going to actually move forward because they're going to rescind or get rejected, we're going to produce $920,000. At an average client value of $5,000, we should be completing 184 projects this year or serving 184 clients if it's not a home improvement company. Okay, that's how many customers we should actually transact with, which means we've got 4 jobs this week. And this is the key thing. We've got 568 qualified leads that we need to generate this year in order to hit our target at this closing rate, at this client value. Okay, so there's a couple of things we can do here. We can either work to increase our closing rate, we can increase our average client value, or we can deliver so much value that we can reduce our cancellation and our rescission. So those numbers would impact this, but we're based on the trailing 12 that we just talked about. So we need to generate 568 leads, 1,100 leads a week, and only 2 a day for 3 sales reps. So another way I've seen this spreadsheet actually be used is to help salespeople understand how they can help contribute towards the goal. If you're interviewing a sales rep and they say, well, how many leads are you going to generate? Well, in order for us to hit this target, you're only needing 2 a day. The company's going to help provide some. Maybe you need to go self-generate some, but there's not a lot of leads per sales rep that needs to be generated, right? So 568 seems like a large number, but 2 is very easy to wrap your mind around, okay? So our available marketing dollars is 100 grand. And how we got that is 10% of $1 million sales goal. You've got your marketing dollars on average will be $176 per lead. And then your marketing dollars spent per completed job is $543. So this is kind of our starting point to help us start creating the budget for the year. So our next tab at the bottom is the monthly budget breakdown. We talked about this in the video, in the email that came out, because we need to know, every business needs to know where their revenue comes from. Is it seasonal? Okay. How much of your business is generated historically in January or February, March, April? So throughout the year, we need to know how much of your business is generated per month. In this example, this was a 5%, 6%. This was my construction company, not the sales goals, but the yearly percentage, just so you could see how it worked. Because in January and February, it was cold. In March, we started calling it the remodeling season began. And so you need to calculate your percentage of your yearly total per month. And you simply take your total revenue and divide your January by the total. That gets a percentage. The key point here is we have to equal 100%. Okay? Now, so you enter the data in B8 through M8. Everything else has been calculated for you. In January, we know we need to calculate, or we need to capture 28 leads. We need 9 sales, and we've got $5,000 to budget for our marketing and advertising. Okay? This is another way that we can hold our marketing partners if we outsource marketing, or if we want to improve internal accountability, hold people accountable on our marketing team. If we agree to this, now when we're having our marketing meeting and we agree, hey, we need to generate 28 leads in January. What's going on? Okay. So this is where kind of the magic starts to happen. So down here in row 17 through 41, we've given you, 25 or so different marketing budget items. So this might be Google pay-per-click. This might be Facebook paid ads. This could be Instagram paid ads. This might be Money Mailer. This could be top of mind gifting programs. Those are, gifts that we send out to customers to stay top of mind. This could be direct mail. This could be automatic handwritten thank you cards. This could be TV advertising. This could be a lot of different things. Any type of marketing campaign sources we want to have on this side. Now, of course, if you're at $1 million and you only have $5,000 set aside this month, you're not going to have a ton of media sources, right? Because you can't spread your advertising dollars too thin. But if you had a larger budget or something you maybe aren't going to do, maybe TV you're not going to do in January, but as you get more funds available in your budget in May, maybe we are. Okay? And so the next step in the process is to then go through and create a budget. So if you're outsourcing this to a marketing partner and they tell you, all right, well, to generate 28 leads in your demographic area or your geographic area in your demographics, we believe we're going to need to invest $2,000 in Google Ads. Okay. So we can do that. So we'll allocate $2,000 to Google Ads. Facebook ads, we're going to invest $500, maybe Instagram. These are all sponsored ads. We're at $3,000 now. Maybe our local money mailer is a direct mail piece. Okay. Then we're going to spend maybe $1,000 here. You can always track where you're at on your budget. Unlike the government, we are working to balance this budget, right? So we've set aside $5,000. Right now, we've currently allocated $4,500, so we have $500 left to do. So maybe we've got $250 to this and $250 to this. Okay? So that's kind of the basics. And you do this for the entire month or for the entire year. If you just get this spreadsheet and you're in August, I'm going to share an example with you in a minute with some sample data in it, and it's going to have data through August. But if you just start this, take your annual sales goal, divide it by 12, and then do just a 4-month total for August, September, October, November, December. Okay? All right. Then our next step is our actual expenditures. We're going to be meeting with our internal bookkeeping team or our accounting team, someone who is responsible for tracking our spending. Okay, so most companies, have, sometimes it's the founder, sometimes it's the business owner that's tracking all of this, and they've got shoe boxes with receipts, and they're kind of going crazy again, sort of that overwhelm that we started with. But oftentimes each company has someone dedicated for bookkeeping, expense tracking, and things like that. So at the end of each month, we're now going to go to our accounting contact or our bookkeeper, office manager, and what were our actual expenditures? Okay, so our actual expenditures for Google was $27.89. For Facebook, we spent $409. For Instagram, we spent $398. For the money mailer, we spent $375. For our top of mind gifting programs, we actually had more completed jobs that we wanted to get in front of and stay top of mind. So let's say we spent $1,500 there. We didn't do anything for direct mail. Actually, we did a small welcome to the neighborhood mailer, and then maybe we sent out 150 thank you cards. Okay. So we do this at the end of each month. Again, we're working with our marketing department and our accounting. In this final tab, this is where I say the magic happens. Now, I'll back up for just a moment, because as we're talking about a strategic marketing planning worksheet, I do have clients that I've released this document to that use this for their entire company budgeting. So they will list out every single budget item, and they use this spreadsheet to manage their entire business. Now, for the purposes of this conversation, it's for marketing, but there is another use for this if you should desire. Again, we're meeting with our accounting people, our sales leader. What were our total sales for January? We sold $58,900. Whoops. I put that in the wrong box. 58,900. Okay. So people love colors. I love colors. Colors help me understand what's going on. And so green is typically good, right? Red is typically alarming. And so this is no different. And so as we enter our sales data, 58,900, we can see that we're actually $8,900 above what our budget was based on these numbers and this percentage of revenue generated. So we're $8,900 above budget. Now, the next one is we went over budget in our spending. Okay, we're over budget $721, but we're able to see every single line item. Okay, so here, where we're over budget is we spent $789 more on Google. We were under budget in our Facebook ads. We were under budget in Instagram. We were under budget in the money mailer. We were over budget in the top of mind gifting program. We were under and under here. Now, some people may look at this and go, well, Clifton, we were over budget. And you're right. You are over budget. But I believe that most businesses and most founders are willing to spend a little bit more if they're selling more. And so as you continue to do this month by month by month, you will eventually get a picture that looks like this. You will get an entire holistic view. And this is a company that's a $7 million target. And you will start to see how all of this is a dashboard where you can start to make data-driven decisions, hold people accountable instead of emotional decisions. And we can make changes. And so if you develop the discipline to implement this spreadsheet, again, the feedback I've received on this has been, this has changed my life. This has changed my business. This changes the way we do things, but you have to stay committed to it. You can't do tab 2 and tab 3 and then don't do tab 4 and tab 5. So this spreadsheet, again, we're going to give you copies of this. If you use this, the results, your team will be bought in. Again, I recommend reviewing this in your all hands meeting as well. I know Shane, as an example, brings everyone together. This will be great to share with the team. So everybody understands that it costs a lot of money to grow a business. And we see here where, wow, guys, in May, you guys are killing it. The company invested a little bit more money to provide better opportunities for you, and the results showed. But if everybody can see this each month, again, it builds a connection with the company, and it helps them stay focused on the actual goals and the mission of the company. So that is the spreadsheet. That's, step by step on how we start, how we finish. So with that, I will answer any questions. And also in an upcoming training, I have this exact spreadsheet, but formatted differently, where it's for sales reps individually. So where we can use similar data to measure a sales rep's individual performance with a graph. Are you on target, off target, which, we'll go over that in an additional or in an upcoming training. So what questions do you guys have, if any? Was this helpful? Does it make sense? I can't hear you.
Yeah. Yes.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's huge. It's wow. Yeah. I love it. I can't wait to show them guys because yeah.
I don't know. You guys aren't, I don't know if you're using anything like this currently.
No, nothing like this by any means. I mean, Shane definitely tries to bring stuff up to show everybody, but this is mind blowing. This is, yeah. And I mean, we're making some marketing changes right now. We're in like the middle of bringing on a new guy that's been helping us with our Facebook ads and things. So this is huge. Like I don't know all the stuff yet about the budget and all that. I got to get with Shane on all that, but once I show him this and break it down, it's going to be huge. So
Yeah, well, that's great feedback. Thank you for sharing that. One of the things as you were talking about Shane, I looked here. So I even put on here, if you've got a freelance videographer or a freelance photographer, add those budget items to this. Okay. Because I know that, some people will outsource video editing, videography, photography. So like in this example, I'm just going to go through some example sources. We've got Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google LSA, SEO, top of mind, direct mail, money mailer, TV, yard signs, website, Chamber of Commerce. I mean, there's a bunch of different categories, even down to your vehicle trailer or vehicle and trailer graphics and wraps. Those are all branding things. Those are all things that we need to, set aside a budget for. Like, for example, in this example here, we know that in March, we are setting aside $10,000 to get new graphics on our vehicles. Okay. Then we're going to stockpile some cash, and we're budgeting again 3 months later to do the rest of the work vehicles. We've got some holiday cards that we budget for. We've got some home shows. We've got some conventions and things like that we've budgeted for as well. So I think in the feedback I've received is this is a very easy to use spreadsheet. I know that sometimes when you look at all of this at once, it can be a little overwhelming, but once you go through the process a few times, super, super easy to use. So the good news is you showed up for the call. And so here at the end, I am going to schedule a free 30-minute strategy call to anybody that showed up. So for those of you that didn't show up, you missed an opportunity to schedule a 30-minute strategy call with me where we can either dive deeper into this spreadsheet or we can talk about anything that's affecting your business, your role, your position, or anything you want to strategize about. So I'll reach out to you and we'll get that 30-minute strategy call scheduled.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Cool. Any final questions, feedback?
No, I appreciate it. This is great. Thank you.
Awesome. And you were able to download the file, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, for those of you that did not make the live training, our team will get the recording out to you, and be on the lookout for additional training here in the Business Growth Series online. And until next time, God bless.